So where must we do? Now from where say again, I must do? Hadith number? See? وأن يعلم ابن مرة, no. Okay, I got it right. Okay. Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Nahmaduhu wa Nusali ala Rasul Kareem. We still discussing the miracles, the mu'jizat of Rasulullah sallallahu وعن علي بن أبي طالب قال كنت مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بمكة فخرجنا في بعض نواحيها فما استقبله جبل ولا شجر إلا ويقول السلام عليك يا رسول الله. رواه الترمذي والدارمي. Narrated in authority of Ali ibn Abi Talib. He said, I was with Rasulullah in Makkah. فخرجنا, then we went out في بعض نواحيها. ناحية and nawahi is a plural, ne? That is mean like and this is ya manqusa, ne? In halate nasab it comes back, in halate rafa, in halate jar it you don't pronounce it right. So we went to some corners, whatever work. فما استقبله جبل ولا حجر. No mountain, no tree met him إلا وهو يقول, except he was saying السلام عليك يا رسول, peace be upon you, O the messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. رواه الترمذي والدارمي. الترمذي and Darimi narrates this particular ayat, so quite clear there. Right, that the miracle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that the trees, etc., etc., would greet him. Can I read the next one?
فاستشعب عليه فقال له جبرائيل أبي محمد تفعل هذا؟ قال كما ركبك أحد أكرم على الله. قال أرفض أرفا. رواه الترمذي وقال الحديث.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعن أنس, narrating author Anas, أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أتي بالبراق. This utiya bi means when something is brought to you. That's why if you want to say something was brought, you say utiya bi, this was brought to me. Utiya bina, this was brought to us, right? Utiya bil buraki, the burak was brought, right? Then laylata, this is laylata is here like a mudaf, ne? And usriya bihi is a jumlah fa'aliyah which become the mudaf ilay. And that mudaf, so a mudaf can also be jumlah fa'aliyah. So that mudaf ilay becomes a what? A zarf, ne? So the burak was brought to me on the night usriya bihi, when he was made to travel. When he was made to travel, usriya bihi, when Rasul was made to travel by night, right? Muljaman. So aljama, just look at aljama yuljimu muljim. So what's the muljim? The person who puts the bridle on. Muljam, the one who the bridle is put on for him. So the horse was brought in this condition that the bridle was already on. And musrahan, same thing. Musrajan, asraja, yusriju, musrij will be the person who is saddling the horse. Musrajan saddled, it came ready. Fastas'aba alayhi. So, sometimes if the horse is very, very high spirited, right? So it is what they call frisky, so to say. When it gets high protein food, so it was like frisky, jumping around. فقال له جبرائيل. You will do in Jalal and Sharif. I think there's about 5 or 6 ways you can read. You've done it already in Jalal, no? Jibra'il, Jabra'il, Jabra'ilu, all that stuff. You never do it. You'll do, inshallah, you'll come across it in this 4 or 5 authentic ways which you can recite, right? So, uh, so Jibril says, أتفعل هذا, right? فقال جبرائيل بمحمد تفعل هذا, that you are showing some tricks. Are you like, you're being frisky, like sometimes the horse, he moves, he don't want you to jump on him, all that type of thing. You ever sat on a horse before, no? You sat on a horse anytime? Right, so it's like moving like that, like moving away. He said, are you doing this with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Are you coming with your tricks here with Nabi? He says, He says, فَمَا رَكِبَكَ أَحَدٌ أَكْرَمْ عَلَى اللَّهِ مِنْهُ. That nobody more honored in the sight of Allah Ta'ala has ridden you. In other words, still today you haven't had such an august, such an esteemed rider, right? Right? قال فَرَفَضَّ عَرَقًا. Then he broke out into sweat when he realized who is coming to ride him. That is the most honored and the best of Allah Ta'ala's creation. رواه الترمذي, Imam Tirmidhi narrates, وقال هذا حديث غريب. He said, this is a gharib hadith. Gharib means, dear, like maybe only one or two riwayats, not many other riwayats. Inshallah, you'll do, inshallah, when you do next year, inshallah, when you start Tirmidhi Sharif, you'll do all the istilahat before you start. Imam Tirmidhi got his own istilahat. It's a bit different from the general usul al-hadith, but you'll do that, inshallah, next year if you stick around, right? فَرَفَضْ عَرَكًا. When he, like how we say, sometimes when you get some news, immediately you break out into a sweat. So the miracle here is that when the Burak heard who his rider is going to be, he broke out into a sweat. Before that, he was a bit, in Urus and I would say, sarkash. He was a bit wayward, etc., etc. But when he heard now who's coming to ride him, he became totally obedient and subservient. So that was the miracle of Rasulullah. Read the next one. Right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wa an Buraidata, narrated the authority of Haz Buraida, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, qala Rasulullah. He's narrating from Rasulullah. Lamman tahayna ila Baytil Muqaddasi. When we reached to Baytul Muqaddas, qala Jibrailu bi'isba'ihi. As Jibril said with his finger. This is how you literally translate it. But also you do this here. Sometimes the meaning of a word changes with its suffix. Like I told you, no, zahaba means to go, but zahaba bihi means what? To take something with you. Just like or you say, ata means to come, ata bihi to bring something with you. Same thing. So qala be something, you do this. It comes in one of the kitabs. It means to qala be to do something physically. So right, fakharaka biha al hajar. You got hajaru or hajara. فخرق بالحجر loud حجرة فخرق بالحجرة فشد به البراق رواه الترمذي. So what he's saying here in this riwayat here is that Rasulullah when they came there was a rock there, right? So as Jibreel took his finger and he pierced it. I'm giving you the understood translation. He made a hole in the rock, right? Right? And then فشد به, and then he tied the burak in it. رواه الترمذي. So um, they say that this is the place where all the Anbiya alayhimu salatu wa taslim. You remember the Baytul Maqdis was the place where all the Anbiya alayhimu salatu wa taslim would come there. It was the main hotspot before Islam, etc. Although the Kaaba was also there, but most of the Anbiya were concentrated there, especially the Anbiya of the Banu Israel. So apparently there's this place here where all the Anbiya would keep there. When they come to visit the masjid, they would tie the conveyances, donkey, whatever there. So there was a hole there, right? And this is where he should tie it. But with the passage of time, this hole maybe got closed with dirt or dust, whatever. So when Jibril brought Nabi Sallallahu, he reopened that hole. So we'll say that just by pointing his finger or whatever, he opened the hole. So obviously this happened in the presence of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it was for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So in that sense of the word, it is a miracle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yeah. So now nobody have been to Baitul Maqdis. I haven't been there yet. So they say now what happened is that the hole has been plated with a plate so that it doesn't close again. So apparently you can go see this. If anybody's seen it, they can let us know. So yeah, he said, It is to the right of Masjid al-Aqsa. So people go there till today. When you go on ziyarat, if it's not closed, if it's not blockaded by the Zionists, that's under the control of the Zionists. And you can go and read two rakats there today. Allah Ta'ala take us all, inshallah. Carry on, read the next riwayat, inshallah.
أن يعلم بما تشك فيه رضي الله عنه قال ثلاثة أشياء ذكرها من تفصيل بين نحن نسير معه إذ مررنا ببعير يسنى عليه فلما رآه البعير جرجر فوضع قرانه فوقف عليه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال أين صاحب هذا البعير فجاءه فقال بعنيه فقال بل نهره لك يا رسول الله.
Okay, let's stop there. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وأن يعلمنا مرة الثقفية. Okay, الثقفية, right? Because it's صفة. So that يعلى, they obviously it is غير منصرف. وأن يعلمنا مرة الثقفية. And مرة also will be غير منصرف because of the ta'anis, right? قال ثلاثة أشياء رأيتها من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Three things, three extraordinary things, right? ثلاثة أشياء رأيتها من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. I saw it from Rasul. بينما نحن نصير معه, whilst we were traveling. So I was saying, while with my past travels of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there's three unique things I witnessed, right? إذ مررنا ببعير, once we passed by a camel, يسنى عليه. Yusna alayhi means, here we'll do this. It was used to draw water. Yusna alayhi. From maybe from the well or whatever. Carry on. فَلَمَّا رَأَوْا الْبَئِيرُ جَرْجَرَ. When the it cried out in pain, in agony. فَوَضَعَ جِيرَانَهُ. And he placed its neck on him, on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right, carry on.
فوقف عليه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال أين صاحب هذا البعير جاءه فقال يعنيه فقال بل ذهبه يا رسول الله إنه لأهل فله معيشة.
Right. So فوقف عليه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال أين صاحب هذا البعير. Then فوقف عليه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam stood by it and he said, فقال أين صاحب هذا البعير. Where is the owner of this camel? Where is the right? فجاءه, so the owner came, فقال بعنيه. باع يبيع أمر بيع, sell it to me. قال بل وهب يهب. What you got, نهبه. What you got on the body? نهب. Okay, وهب يهب. So قال بل نهبه لك. Yeah, so obviously Rasulullah, how can we sell it to Rasulullah? Rasulullah, we'll give it to you as a gift. We give it to you. بل نهبه لك يا Rasulullah. We'll give it to you as a gift, right? Carry on. So obviously, how could they sell it to Rasulullah? It was a aged camel, and Ya Rasulullah is saying, sell it to me. Like sometimes you got visitors by your house, they say, sell us this. You say, no, don't, just take it, right? Carry on.
وإنه لأهل بيت فله معيشة.
Yeah. So he says, this is Ya Rasulullah, وَإِنَّهُ لِأَهْلِ بَيْتِ. It is for a particular house. مَا لَهُمْ مَعِيشَةٌ غَيْرُهُ. They don't have any source of income besides this. That is, this camel is their source of income, right?
قال إما إذ ذكرت هذا الأمر فإنه كثرة الأمر إلا كالملك.
Right. Okay, since أما إذا ذكرت هذا من أمري, since you mentioned now that this camel here, they use it, so I wanted to buy it so I can take it out of its difficulty. But now they are using it, so I can't buy it, or you can't gift it to me, right, etc. But maybe you can at least attend to his complaints. What is his complaints? أما إذا ذكرت. So هذا refers to that it is the sole source of income for this particular family. فإنه شكا كثرة العمل وقلة الألف. It has complained because of the abundance of work and the little feed. In other words, the feed is too little for the work it's doing. If it's doing a lot of work, it needs a lot of feed, right? Carry on.
ثم سرنا حتى نزلنا منزلا فنام النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فجاءت شجرة تشق الأرض حتى غشينا ثم رجعت إلى مكانها.
Right. So, فأحسنوا إليه, please be good to it, right? So we see from this here also, from in light of the hadith, etc., that as owners of animals, of owners of pets, people want to have pets, etc., etc. You have a duty towards those pets to ensure that they are well fed, they got their water, they got their freedom, they got their space, that they are comfortable, etc., etc. Sometimes you have to speak, sometimes you there's even a talk that you can give, that that if people like to keep pets, and from Islam you think maybe only insan has hukuk. Sometimes we think only insan has hukuk, that you have to fulfill your mother's right, you have to fulfill your father's right. But from this you learn also, if you are the caretaker of a pet, any animal, whatever, then you have to see to what it needs. فَأَحْسِنُوا إِلَيْهِ, then be good to it. In other words, see that its food is in proportion to the work he's doing. He's got his drink, etc., etc. فأحسنوا إليه. ثم سرنا حتى نزلنا. Carry on.
نزلنا منزلا فنام النبي.
Then ثم سرنا, we traveled حتى نزلنا منزلا, we came to a place. فنام النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, Nabi took some rest. Carry on.
جاءت شجرة تشق الأرض حتى غشينا.
Yeah. So فجاءت شجرة, a tree came. شق يشق, like how we done like خرق. It was it was cutting in the earth. That's a literal translation, but here you can say it was burrowing through the earth. In other words, imagine trees in the ground and it's moving through the ground. So obviously the trees is deep in, so it's like cutting a path, right? Moving, right? So tashukul arada, it is cutting the earth hatta ghashiyatu, until it came right to Rasulullah. Ghashya means to cover, and it gave him some shade, right?
رجعت إلى مكانها.
Then after Nabi Sa was finished, ثم رجعت إلى مكانها, it went back to his place, right?
فلما استيقظ عليه الصلاة والسلام ذكرت له.
Yeah. فلما استيقظ رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, when Rasul woke up, ذكرت له, I mentioned to him. Carry on.
And he's very much apologetic.
Right. So when Nabi Sallam woke up, ذكرت له, I mentioned to him what had happened. It's to see the Rasul Sallam, you was sleeping. Allah Ta'ala miraculously sent a tree to shade you while she was sleeping.
قال هي شجرة استأذنت ربها أن تسلم على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Right. So then Nabi Sallam explained, he said, هي شجرة, it is a tree, استأذنت ربها, its Rabb, sorry, استأذن ربها, it sought permission from its Rabb, أن تسلم على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, that it wanted to come and make salam to me. Remember I told you our belief, وإن من شيء إلا يسبح بحمدها, that everything, it has a degree of life. Maybe not the highest degree of life, not the highest degree of life, right? But it has a degree of life. But insan is the highest degree of life. That's why insan is the most responsibilities. Your responsibility is in relationship to your capacity, right? So insan has the highest degree of intelligence to recognize Allah Ta'ala, etc., etc. That's why it's got the greatest responsibility. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ التَّقْوِيمِ. So this also has a degree of life, right? So it wanted to make, he saw Rasulullah, it wanted to make salam with him. So Allah is not permission. فَأَذِنَ لَهَا, then Allah Ta'ala permitted. Carry on reading.
ثم ردنا بما
Right. So he said, we're also traveling. فَمَرَرْنَا بِمَاءٍ, we passed by a water source. فَأَتَتْهُ إِمْرَأَةٌ, بِإِبْنٍ لَهَا. Right? بِإِبْنٍ لَهَا بِهِ جِنَّةٌ. Then we pass by a woman, she had a child, and the Ibn lah biha jinnatun. This child was afflicted by a jinniya, right? Remember, that is also our belief of the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. We believe in another creation of Allah Ta'ala, that is the jinn, etc., right? Carry on.
قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم
Right. So, فأخذ النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بمنخره. Mankhar normally refer to manakhir also. فهل يكب الناس على مناخرهم. That comes in the hadith. We came across it, right? People will be thrown headlong on their faces. So mankhar, you can just check just check it. But normally it's referred to the snout of an animal, but also maybe it's used interchangeably for human beings. So Nabi Sallam took him by his face, by his nose. ثم قال اخرج. Then Nabi Sallam said to the jinn, اخرج, leave this person, stop troubling them. Did you ever see our person extract the jinn? How he said, get out, leave him. Why are you troubling him? You saw that? Never see. Right? So he said, اخرج فإني محمد رسول الله. Why are you troubling him? Listen to me. I am Muhammad, the Prophet of Allah Ta'ala. ثم سرنا, then we traveled. فلما رجعنا, when we came back, right, on our return journey, مررنا بذلك الماء, we passed by that water source again another time. فسألها عن الصبي. He asked her about the child, right? How is the child after we dealt with him? What is it? Nose, nostrils, yeah. Generally, more I saw it was used like for the nostrils, the snout of the animal, but here obviously seems like used for a human being. فسأل عن الصبي فقالت والذي بعثك بالحق, right? So this person said, I take a qasam by the one who sent you the truth. ما رأينا منه ريبا بعدك. We did not see. Also, ra'a, yara also comes. You can try many times from the context. You see, you can also translate ra'a is to experience. Right? ما رأيت منه إلا حقا. I don't experience from him except the truth. So we not experience minhu, from him, rayban, any problem, بعدك, after you. رواه في شرح السنة. He narrates this in شرح السنة. Okay, so the hadith is quite self-explanatory. The takeaway is like looking after the animals. If you've got animals, you are responsible to care for them. And also we learned here about a lot of people, these I told you the Quran only folk, and these some of them, they even forget about being afflicted by a jinn. They even deny the existence of jinn. They say there's no such thing as jinn, because I told you, anything which is out of the ordinary, which is out of it's like supernatural, they deny it. You understand what I'm saying? So when you ask them, like, in the Quran, a jinn, they say no, jinn is a type of a bacteria. They say jinn is a type of a, really, if somebody told me, they say no, jinn is a bacteria. Allah Ta'ala speaks about germs, it's bacteria. But anyway, the Quran, min al-jinnati wan-nas, is a reality. We discussed before also that sihr is a reality, al-aynu haqqun is a reality, jinn is a reality, and it can also afflict people. In fact, there's another riwayat we're going to do here also, where somebody was afflicted by jinn, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam cured that person. So just so that the three miracles discussed, just one, two words, yusna, it was used. You must just check this. Yusna, used to extract water from a water source. Jar jara refer to what? The sound. What do you say in English? A camel, what's like how you say sheep bleats, a horse neighs. What does a camel do? You don't know, must check it up. What does a camel do? Anybody knows? What sound does it? In school, you done? You done? A rooster crows. A So jar jara refer to the sound of a camel. Hiranahu, I told you, it placed his neck on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when this particular person, he said, look, Ya Rasulullah, you want to buy this camel, but this camel is the only source of income. He was like trying to indicate to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam subtly. Obviously, he couldn't be, direct, that they need it, like it's not possible. So so obviously, what is the intention of Nabi Sallallahu? Once he buy this, then he can retire it. Okay, they say something, a camel bleeds. A camel bleeds. You check what you found. A camel bleeds, right? So so obviously, and maybe more so ever after the camel spoke to Rasulullah Sallallahu, it made izhar of his complaint, etc. More reason to keep it because it's now a blessed camel, right? Tashukul arad, I told you, it like you say, it tore, it borrowed the earth, it borrowed the earth. Qasida Burda, the place, that poem that was written in praise of Rasulullah Sallallahu. A lot of people when they go to Makkah, Medina, and they recite the Qasida Burda in front of Nabi Sallallahu. So the famous word, جاءت لدعوة الأشجار ساجدة تمشي إليه على ساق بلا قدم, that the trees came, answered his calls in sajda, prostrate, tamshi, walking towards him, ala saqin, upon its saqi, that means shins, without any feet, right? So yeah, Minkhar, I tell you, Nabi Sam got hold of him by his nose and said, now, don't trouble this person, leave here. Rayban, after you attended to him, Ya Rasulullah, we didn't have any problem with him, right? So the miracles, three miracles was of Rasulullah and the camel, the tree, and then the tree, that was the second one. And then the third one was the removal of the jinn from this person. Okay, read the next riwayat, inshallah. Mithlul jirwil aswadi yas'a. Okay, so I was telling you that we believe in sihr, that's haq, there's ample proof from the Quran. We believe in jinn, etc. There's ample proof from the Quran. And yeah, so you see, if you follow the train of thought of these Quran only people, they only believe in what they can see. They don't believe in anything out of the ordinary. One of the Abbas, narrating Ibn Abbas, Inna mar'atan ja'at bi ibnillaha. Once a person came with her child, ila Rasulillah, to Rasul, faqalat ya Rasulullah. She said, Ya Rasulullah, inna bani bihi jununun, that my son, this, he has a problem, right? وَإِنَّهُ لَيَأْخُذُهُ عِنْدَ غَدَائِنَا وَعَشَائِنَا. And verily this problem, لَيَأْخُذُهُ, it grabs him, you can say grabs him, it afflicts him in the غَدَائِنَا, in the morning time, breakfast time, وَعَشَائِنَا, evening time, supper time. فَمَسَحَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم صَدْرَهُ. Nabi Sallam rubbed his chest, وَدَعَا, and he made dua, right? Right there. فَسَعَ فَعْسَةً. Now you got fa'sa. This boy, he, like you say, he vomited something out. وَخَرَجَ مِنْ جَوْفِهِ مِثْلُ الْجِرْوِ. الْجِرْوِ الْأَسْوَدِ يَسْعَى. Then مِثْلُ الْجِرْوِ, like a black shape, like a black puppy, it came out of him, fleeing away. Rawahu Darami, Imam Darami narrates this particular riwayat. Okay, so bihi jununun. This person was afflicted probably by a jinn, that was sometimes a jinn proven from here, from the hadith, etc. It takes residence in a person. So that's why also, if you look at the word in Arabic, junoon, which means madness, and jinn, right? So he gets, when the jinn is active in his body, he appears to be a mad person. So ghada'ina in the morning when we have breakfast, asha'ina in the evening when we have supper, etc. right? فَسَعْسَ فَسَعَ سَعَ يُسَعْ right? قَاءَ قَيْئَةً. I told you al-jirwi could refer to like a small dog, a puppy. So this, if you ever speak to these people at the army that removes genuines, they'll tell you when they remove a gene, you see like something coming out, like a form coming out, like a spirit coming out. Okay, so the miracle is quite evident there that how Nabi Sallallahu removed that. Okay, read the next one.
عن أنس رضي الله عنه قال كان إسرائيل أن أوتيته الله وسلم جالس حزين قد قد تخضب بالدم من فعل أهل مكة.
Okay, so what Anas narrate the author is Anas. قال جاء جبرائيل إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Once Jibreel Amin came to Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم وهو جالس whilst he was sitting, right? And then حزين, sad, قد تخضب بالدم من فعل أحد. And he was colored, Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم was colored in blood من فعل أهل مكة because of the people of Makkah. Remember first Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam he tried to give da'wah to the people of Makkah, they refused. Then he turned his attention to the people of Taif, they also refused. Then he used to, when the people used to come for Hajj, he used to speak to them, and the people that responded to his message were the people of Medina, right? So, فقال يا رسول الله هل تحب أن نريك آية? So Jibril came and said, Oh Rasulullah, can I show you something out of the ordinary just to cheer him up from this down and out? هل آية? قال نعم. فنظر إلى الشجرة من ورائه. Then he looked at a tree behind him فقال ادعو بها, call it. فدعا بها. Then he called it. فجاءت, it came. فقامت بين يديه, it stood in front of him. فقال مرها. So Jibril said, okay, now instruct it, right? فَلْتَرْجِعْ, that it must return. فأمرها, the Nabi Sallallahu commanded it. فرجعت, it returned. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم حسبي حسبي رواه الدارمي. Nabi said, this is enough, this is enough. In other words, this is enough to cheer me up. The be colored in something. So normally it comes with the word بالدم, تخضب بالدم. And here, when you speak about the people of Makkah that were traveling, it refers to the Quraysh. So it could refer to, here they say, that after Uhud, it was the people of Makkah that came to fight. Remember? The people of Makkah came to fight the Muslims in Medina. Allama Suyuti has mentioned that there were up to 7 marks on the face of Rasulullah Sallallahu as a result of the, because remember they were under pressure at one stage, especially when the information spread that Nabi Sallam had passed away, and then the Sahaba Ikram were overcome with like with a haze, so to say. Allah Ta'ala protected him. So after that, they say he was a bit sad, and Nabi Sallam, the Jibreel came to give him some type of consolation, showed him a miracle, taught him how to make a miracle. جاءت لدعوة الأشجار ساجدة تمشي إلي على ساق بلا قدم. Okay, read one more and we can switch over. Stop there. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعن ابن عمر قال كنا مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في سفر. Once we were with Rasul on one journey. فأقبل أعرابي, then a Bedouin came faced him, right? فلما دنا له, when he came close to Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم, Rasul said تشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. One second. Right. So he said, Tashhadu an la ilaha illa wahdahu la sharika la wa anna Muhammadan abdu rasul. Will you bear witness that there's no deity except Allah Ta'ala alone, and there's no part of him, and that Muhammad is his servant and his messenger? Subhanallah, see Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, how desirous he was that he just met somebody and then he gave him da'wah. Okay, we speak about da'wah nowadays, we only speak about da'wah to Muslims, which is also right. There's nothing wrong about that. You go in Tabligh Jamaat, you give da'wah. But see, da'wah to non-Muslims also. From this, you understand that everybody we meet, we must give them a da'wah. Your people that work with you in the house, in the shop, etc. The moment you're in P, there's a Saudi Jamaat. So my brother said they were taking them somewhere, like, so they obviously live in a Muslim country. They're not accustomed to seeing non-Muslims. So they took them somewhere to the beach where they say, give them Islam, give them Islam. How can you not, non-Muslims, how can you let the person pass without giving dawah? You have to give him dawah. But I don't know, yeah, every day we pass by non-Muslims. Imagine you stop to give every dawah, what will happen? Your whole day will go in it. But I'm just saying that we've become desensitized. We live with the non-Muslims. We don't forget to give them dawah. Well, dawah could be in actions and in the words, etc. You give good akhlaq, good business dealings, etc. There's also a dawah. But the point I'm saying, they're not used to seeing non-Muslims. So every time they see a Muslim, they say, how can you let the person pass? You must give him dawah first, right? So this was the sunnah of Rasul. So when he saw, he said, right? قال وما يشهد على ما تقول. So he said, okay, who can pay you out? Who can, like you say, you come and say, look here, I'm an honest person. You can employ me. I will work with your cash, whatever. Okay, what reference have you got? What reference you got? Easy to claim. وما يشهد على, and who will witness upon what you're saying? قال هذه السلامة, this tree. فدعاها رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Well, بشاطئ الوادي. It was شاطئ, also you say شاطئ البحر, at the edge of the ocean. بشاطئ, it was the edge of the valley. فأقبلت تخض الأرض. It proceeded burrowing the earth حتى قامت بين يديه, until it stood in front of Rasulullah. فاستشهدها ثلاثا. So Nabi sought it to recite the uh, istaf'ala means to request, right? Istaghfara, istasqa. He sought it for it to make to recite the shahada three times. فشهدت ثلاثا, and the three bore witness three times أنه كما قال, that yes, it is true that Muhammad is a messenger of Allah Ta'ala. ثم رجعت إلى منبتها, then it returned to its manbat. Now, maf'alun, scale, place of growing. Nabata, Mambat, Maf'alun, Rawaw Daramiyu. Imam Darami narrates this particular riwayat. So, who will bear witness for you? This tree will bear witness. So the fact that Nabi Sallallahu called the tree came to him and it bore witness, etc., that is a miracle. Shati on the end. And khadda yakhuddu, to burrow through, to plow through. فاستشهد, Nabi Sallallahu said, who will witness in my favor like this? Okay, we'll stop there, inshallah. We switch over to the tafsir now. So, Bazir, the Kitab. There we stop. We were reading. Yeah, okay, so we were just, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulih al-Kareem. We were discussing the story here from Ibn Kathir about Balam bin Ba'ura, the person who initially he was requested to make dua against Musa alayhi salam. Initially he refused because he understood this is impossible, but when he was plied with gifts, etc., then he capitulated. So we're discussing the story where he went to the mountain, right? Can you just show me where we stop? حتى إذا he was going on the mountain لتدعو فلم ينزعها فضربها. So the donkey didn't want to go, so he hit it. فخلى الله سبيله حين فعل بها ذلك. Like I told you, if you're not doing a wrong, or if you're doing a wrong for the first time, Allah Ta'ala will divinely intervene and he'll try to stop you from doing that. But when you are persistent and you insist to do that wrong, then after that Allah Ta'ala leaves you. Allah Ta'ala leaves you. Right? That is why you make the dua. وَلَا تَقِلَّ إِلَى أَنفُسِنَا طَرَفَةَ عَيْنٍ سَوْفَ خَلَّ اللَّهُ سَبِيلَهَا حِينَ فَعَلَ بِهَا ذَلِكَ. So Allah Ta'ala saw that this person is insistent, he's persistent, he wants to make dua حتى إذا أشرفت على رأس حزبان على أسكر موسى. So then the donkey went with him until it came upon the peak of the mountain by the right على حزبان على رأس حزبان على أسكري by the Musa army of Musa وبني إسرائيل جعل يدعو عليهم, and he began جعل يدعو. When you get like a just jala, which comes a feeling more like he began, right? Jala yad'u alayhim, he began making dua against them, يعني against Musa alayhi salam. ولا يعلم بشر, and he did not make dua upon them with evil, right? It must be destroyed. إلا صرف الله لسانه إلى قومه, except Allah Ta'ala made him rather make the dua against his own people, right? ولا يدعو لقومه بخير إلا صرف الله لسانه إلى بني إسرائيل. And when he wanted to make dua for goodness for his people, Allah Ta'ala made it such that that goodness he mentioned was for his people. So it was like he was misspeaking, or he was what they call a Freudian slip, right? Right? فقال لقوم أتدري يا بلعم ما تصنع. So they said, Balaam, do you know what you're doing? You making dua against us, and you're making dua in favor of Musa alayhi salam. I'd carry on from there. إنما تدعو لهم وتدعو علينا. You are making dua in favor of them, وتدعو علينا, and you're making dua against us. قال فهذا ما لا أملك. You know what? I, I don't have any power of this. You put a Tafsir Ibn Kathir on. Just check there. Put a proper page. I'll carry on speaking so long while, right? So you know what? I am